is the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans, with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, and Jason Eidsmoe. We're talking Padres, Chargers, and Aztec sports.
Gotta hit it to the right place. And he hits it out to center. Right center. Blackmon's got a long way to go. He's still going.
Off the wall.
And it is off the wall. It takes a funny hop. Kemp is rounding second. He's heading to third.
Gotta go.
And Matt Kemp into third base with a triple and the first cycle in the history of the San Diego Padres.
He will hand it off. Tomlinson plows his way towards the goal line. LaDainian Tomlinson, one step closer to football immortality. Tomlinson has tied the single-season record. And the handoff to Tomlinson. Left side, and he will gallop into the end zone. Charger fans are witnesses to history.
Pope thought about it. Now steps up. And the freshman hits the jumper at the buzzer.
Well, this kid is some prospect. Big time length, big time game.
Pope straight away three. Count it. Malik Pope. Pope off glass and good. On the other end, Joel doesn't miss that one. Shepard alley-oop to Pope. He got up there. Oh, wow.
It's time to let your voice be heard.
Coach said you guys were salty and pissed off. Do you agree with that assessment? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that is to be expected. Anytime you've lost 5 in a row and find yourselves in the position we're in, but so now it's a matter of doing something about it. Here we are. Here we know what we face. You know, we've kind of put it at a 7-game season. Obviously, one game season, one at a time. But just we've got a 7-game season. We got to put those 9 behind us. And see what we can make of it now. We have 5 division games starting this week with Kansas City. So I thought practice was good. I thought the energy was there. And, you know, it's certainly tough when it's been over a month since you've won a game. But I think we have the right mindset to go try to turn this thing around.
Did you feel any differently coming out of the line?
All right. It is Sunday morning. It's 9 o'clock. It's time for the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for the fans by the fans. That was Philip Rivers, of course, talking about you know, the mindset of the Chargers, you know, where they're at after losing 5 in a row. Now, let me tell you, the San Diego Sports Junkies and the Chargers seasons have paralleled a little bit this year. We've had a lot of stuff go wrong with us as well. We've had, you know, some members relocate. We've had illness. We've had equipment failures. Last Wednesday, we had an actual plumbing issue in my apartment / studio, so we couldn't do the show. Today, Josh is not with us. He is finishing his relocation. Justin is actually representing us down at the Charger game. So it was supposed to be just me, Jason here, and Jake Hefner was going to come on with me. And then this morning, Jake messaged me that he had an emergency. I don't want to get too deep into it. He's not injured or anything, but so it looks like most likely Jake is not going to be with us either. So it's going to be interesting today. It's going to be just me. So anybody out there, if you're listening, jump in the chat room and help me out here a little bit. Let's do the show together. One of the things that you know that I've been thinking about during the bye week, you know, is the season looks bad. We're 2 wins, 7 losses. You know, for all intents and purposes, we're out of it. Now, you know, I like to hold on to hope. You know, everybody calls me Positive Patty. I want to hold on to the fact that it's still possible for the Chargers to make the playoffs. Improbable and definitely unlikely, but not impossible. So let's just you know, I heard Philip Rivers earlier say he doesn't see why they can't win the rest of the games and squeak into the playoffs. And I'm gonna look at it the same way, you know. Unlikely, yes. Improbable, yes, but not impossible. You know, these games are precious. We get, you know, it seems like they play for 2 months and then we got 10 months off. I know it's not quite like that, but let's enjoy the rest of the season. Let's not worry about where our draft is going to be next year. Let's not worry about who we can draft. Let's not worry about free agents we can pick up. Trust me, we are going to have plenty of time to talk about all that stuff. Let's enjoy the rest of the games. We still have games left this year. And even if, the probability that we don't make the playoffs is there, but let's enjoy the games that we have. We still have football to watch. We still can enjoy victories. We can still go out there and enjoy beating the Chiefs. So let's try and look at each one of these games as an opportunity to get a victory, an opportunity for us to just enjoy watching the Chargers play, because we're going to really miss that during the off season. I think that those of us out there who are very upset about the way this year's going and talking about which guys they should let go and which coaches should be fired and replaced and all that type of stuff. I think when the season's over, you're going to be a little bit upset that you didn't actually enjoy the games. We'll have plenty of time to talk about all that stuff. So, like I said, Justin is going to be at the game. So anybody out there, try and find him and say hi. We were hoping for Jake Hefner to call in. My guess, I haven't heard back from him. My guess is he will not be able to. So I'm going to open up the phone lines. 619-866-4567. Go ahead and call in and help me out here. Let's talk about some Chargers versus the Chiefs. A couple interesting things. Josh Lambo, who is actually, I was not really happy when they decided to let go of Novak and sign Josh Lambo. And it's not that I don't like Lambo. It's mostly the fear of the unknown. We knew what we had with Novak, and we didn't know what we had with Lambo. I think he's had a pretty decent season, though. Certainly, you can't look at his season and think that Novak would have had any better than what he's doing anyways. Josh Lambo only needs 4 more field goals to be 10th on the all-time Chargers field goal list, which I think is kind of interesting, I guess when you look through how many field goal kickers they've had, but he'd sign, he would tie at 10th Wade Ritchie, who all of us know what a debacle that signing was. Chargers also brought up Tyrell Williams from the practice squad. That's one of Justin's favorite guys on the team. And so it's going to be interesting to see what we get out of Tyrell Williams, see if he's going to get any playing time, if he's going to be active today. I assume he's going to be active just because, with Floyd, who's going to be out, we got, Stevie Johnson, we got Dontrell Inman, who in my opinion has been a little bit of a disappointment, and Javonte Herndon, who just came up from the practice squad, and then Tyrell Williams, so they're going to have to activate him. Not only that, looks like Ladarius Green is going to be out as well. They haven't officially listed him. I think the only person that they've actually listed as out so far is Malcolm Floyd. Everybody else was doubtful or questionable. Fluker, I know, is suffering from the concussion. This is where I wish we had Jake in here, because Jake could give us a little bit of insight whether or not Fluker, I'm assuming Fluker probably won't be playing. Ladarius Green probably won't be playing. Looks like we're going to be getting Orlando Franklin back. That'll be nice. Joe Barksdale, one of the amazing things is he's kind of one of the guys that we talked about the least in this. One of the offensive linemen we were looking forward to the least. We did a lot of talking about King Dunlap and Orlando Franklin and Chris Watt, of course, who's on IR. And Fluker moving to guard. Barksdale has come in, and he has actually led the team in offensive snaps. He has even more snaps than Phillip Rivers, because Rivers, they pulled him one game when we were losing. So Barksdale has, I think he's played solid. I don't think he's played great, but it's just interesting that Barksdale is the one guy on the team that's actually played the most. So, anyways, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to go to a quick break. I'm going to come back. We're going to be talking Chargers offense. Going to talk about the offense till about 9:30. Then we're going to move on to the defense. Talk about the defense. We're going to wrap it up with predictions. So anybody in the chat room, during the next segment, try and keep any of the comments and questions to the offensive side of the ball. And if you want to call in, 619-866-4567. Call in. We'll talk about what the Chargers are going to do when they're on offense. And the only caveat that I have to that is if Jake does become available and is able to call in, we don't have a call screening system. So basically, I'm just going to have to get off the phone with you and bring him on. So just so you know that that's a possibility, I welcome you. Call in 619-866-4567. Talk in the chat room. Let's talk some Chargers versus Chiefs.
Project that is due. Maybe you need business cards to help your business stand out. We at San Diego Sports Junkies got you covered. SK Digital Imaging can do it all. Give our buddy Sean K a call, 858-408-0732. SK Digital Imaging, from business cards to the bigger projects, SK Digital Imaging and our buddy Sean K will get your printing done right.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
We're gonna dazzle you with our play. The time has come. You know we're shooting for number one. With thunderbolts and lightning.
We are back. Love that song. Love that song. Let's keep it going in the background there. Love that song. You know, Josh and I had a little bit of a disagreement earlier because, earlier in the season, because he is kind of tired of that song. And I think it's classic. Even though it has a 70s, vibe to it, I just love the song. I think that that it's a song that the Chargers should keep as their theme song, and I hope everybody else out there likes it too. I know that Josh caught a little bit of crap for saying he didn't like it. I love it. I know that POD who they have a Chargers anthem which we'll play during the next break is a really, really cool song too. But that original Chargers theme song is awesome. So let's go ahead and move on to Chargers when they're on offense. Now, the offense has had some serious injury issues, on the offensive line and, just about everywhere. Offensive line has had injuries. Wide receivers have had injuries. Tight ends have had injuries. The only place that's been pretty healthy is running backs. I know Melvin Gordon had a little bit of an ankle issue. But, Chargers on offense, my biggest concern is somebody that I spoke about during the very, very beginning here, and that's Joe Barksdale versus Justin Houston. Justin Houston just seems to tear us up. It always seems like the Chiefs' defensive ends, just seem to just tear us up, and Justin Houston has continued that. I know Tamba Hali has played decently against us. He's actually questionable today, and he's quieted down over the last year or two. But Houston has really, really stepped up his game. So I'm a little bit concerned about the pass rush from Justin Houston, and I'm also a little bit concerned on once again, for some reason, the Chargers have not been able to get their running game on track, and we can come up with lots of reasons with injuries and continuity issues, but back even in the preseason, it just didn't seem like they had it all together. Running back, run blocking. I'm hoping that Orlando Franklin coming back. We got King Dunlap, Trevor Robinson, who I think is actually an upgrade from Chris Watt at center, anyways. Fluker is probably going to be out. I don't know if that means that Wiggins is going to be playing for him or Hairston. My guess is probably Wiggins. If Fluker is out and Barksdale, it's going to be really interesting because I really think that it's important, with our lack at depth and experience at wide receiver, we're going to have to get this. We're going to have to get this running game going, and that's the same thing that you can go back through all of our past shows, all of our past Sunday morning shows, and I think that we say that just about every single Sunday. We need to get the running game going, and it doesn't change here. We need to establish the run, and the main part of that, besides the offensive line, of course, is Melvin Gordon. We need to get him. He needs to get touches. He needs to get lots of touches. The problem is that's a real easy thing to say. We always say, he should be getting more touches. He should be getting the ball more, and that's what I'm saying right now. The problem is if we're not having any success, we can't just keep jamming the ball to him. So we need to get some successful runs. We need to get some, 4 or 5 yard runs. We need to break a 15, 20 yard run. We need to keep their defense guessing, especially with Houston over there. We need to keep him wondering whether or not we're going to throw the ball or run the ball, because the problem is the Chargers slowly get away from the run because the run isn't successful, and they slowly, towards the end of the game, we were so pass happy that the other team was able to just pin their ears back and just come after Rivers, and the only way to stop that is not just to run the ball, but we need to get some success in the running game. We need to make those guys pay for trying to come in and sack our quarterback. And Melvin Gordon, I'm not even going to predict that he's going to have a big game today, because we've done that too, and it just hasn't worked. Let's just sit back and see, with the Chargers, in my, I don't have any statistics in front of me, but historically, it just seems recently, every time the Chargers come out of a bye, we play flat and we look terrible. So let's hope that they're able to change it up this year, and let's hope that they're able to come out of this bye with a renewed sense of urgency and a renewed sense of energy. I know we got a lot of guys, on both sides of the ball back that have been out for a while. So let's hope that the running game can get established, which sounds like a broken record because we say that every single week. Darren, thank you for joining in the chat room, and you bring up a great point. It is kind of strange that Fluker has concussion problems during practice, and that's exactly it. I think he's had 3 concussions now, and all of them have been in practice. And it's real easy to say, oh, maybe they're working too hard in practice. I don't know. I don't have an answer for it. I was thinking about that this week too, though. Why is it in practice? What are they doing in practice that is getting him somehow hit in the head? Or is it, maybe it's not what they're doing, maybe it's what he's doing, maybe he's doing something different in practice, but it is a fluke. It seems like there's a pattern. I don't know if it's just a fluky thing, or if it's I don't know, but it is interesting, that's for sure, that it is always during practice. I don't know if you've heard, Darren, or not, if he's out today or not. Last I heard, he was questionable. So it would be nice, of all the offensive linemen, I just, he might not be playing the best on the offensive line, but I like him the most. I like when you see him out there hobbling around because he's been battling that high ankle sprain. He looks like no matter what injuries, do not slow this guy down. He's out there. He plays to the whistle and maybe even a little bit past the whistle, always looking for a guy to hit. I love that. I love that about Fluker. And I really, really think that the attitude that he brings to the offensive line is the attitude that you want in your offensive lineman. And so it would be nice if he's in. I know that if Jake was on, one of the things that concussions really worry him. So my guess would be he would err on the side of caution, especially since it's multiple concussions. He would want him to sit out and get better. But if he passes the concussion protocol, let's get him out there, man. We need all the bodies we can get. Moving on, we talked about the running backs. We talked about the offensive line. We've been talking about that all year. Wide receivers. Now, Stevie Johnson is moving in moving into the number 1 wide receiver role. He's, we brought him in here to be the number 2. Him and Malcolm Floyd have kind of swapped back and forth, number 2, number 3. Of course, we've had, some huge injuries offensively in the wide receivers. Malcolm Floyd won't even be in the game. Darren, okay, that is a good point. Darren says, sit him. We don't need him blasting himself in 10 years. Yeah, I guess that is a good point too. And not only that, we also have to think, a lot of us fans, we don't think past this week's game. And although, like I said at the beginning, these games are the Chargers are most likely out of the playoffs, but since they're not, every victory every week is a must-win week now, of course. So you want to win this week, but I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't be listening to me because maybe we should be thinking of DJ Fluker's future instead of one game against the Chiefs. Back to the wide receivers, Stevie Johnson. I'm not really. I love the signing. I actually really like what we've seen from Stevie Johnson this year. I like how he plays. I like what we've seen when he's been healthy. I'm not thrilled for him to be our number 1 wide receiver, though. I think that he's better as a complimentary wide receiver. Not that he doesn't have the skill set or anything. I just think that our team is better when Stevie Johnson is the number 2 guy, and him sliding into the number 1 spot. Malcolm Floyd being out moves Dontrell Inman into the number 2 spot. Now, Dontrell, I don't hate any Chargers. I don't want anybody to think that I'm a hater because I love every single Charger. I'm a huge fan of every single Charger, and I want them all to do good. And I'm not the guy that's shitting on them when they make bad plays and stuff, but at the same time, I have been really very disappointed with Dontrell Inman. Dontrell Inman has been a fan favorite here. For some reason, everybody has loved him. Maybe it's because he was kind of the underdog. He came in here. He had that really, really big game last year. I think it was against the 49ers where he stepped up and made some big catches. It just seems to me, I know you only noticed the bad, it seems to me that every time we throw him the ball this season in a important spot, he drops it. He had that big fumble last week, whatever. Guys are going to fumble the ball. That's going to happen. Your wide receivers need to catch balls that are thrown directly to him, though. It also seems that there's been a few times where he's been open and the ball has not come close to him because him and Rivers aren't on the same page. And I know that there's some people out there that feel like I think that Rivers can do no wrong, but I got to think that if there's a miscommunication between Dontrell Inman and Phillip Rivers, I think that the fault's going to lie with Dontrell Inman. That's just the way I look at that. I think it's time for Dontrell Inman. This is really an opportunity for him to step up and really show that he belongs in the NFL, because this year he really hasn't done a lot. He's had a couple catches, but I think we're ready for him to either shit or get off the pot. Show us what you can do. This is a big spot for you, Dontrell Inman, and I'd love to see him, come in and actually have a big game. I would love it. Javonte Herndon, I don't know if he's going to be our number 3 or if Tyrell Williams. And the reason I know that he's been up with the club longer than Tyrell Williams, a couple weeks now. I know he also was on the practice squad all last season, so he has more knowledge of the offensive system. But Javonte Herndon was brought up for one reason and one reason only, and that was to return kicks. I don't think that they see him as a wide receiver full time out on the field. I just don't think that they do. So it'll be interesting to see if Tyrell Williams actually gets some playing time, a little bit more actually offensive playing time than Javonte Herndon. He certainly flashed in the preseason. We saw some stuff in the preseason from Tyrell Williams that we liked. We saw some. We also got a chance to see why he was an undrafted rookie as well. But Tyrell Williams, one of the things when I see him, he's a big guy, and I see him out there, and it brings to mind. I know it's not really a fair comparison, but Denario Alexander. If you remember, late a few years ago, Chargers, what a surprise. We had a bunch of injuries on the offensive side of the ball, and our wide receivers were dropping like flies. We need to bring somebody in. He had some injury issues. They brought him in, and boy, did he finish the season strong. He came in there, and he looked like a number one wide receiver. He was a big guy, and wouldn't that be nice if we saw Tyrell Williams come in here, use his body, be that big wide receiver that Phillip Rivers loves to throw the ball to, and just come out and make a big splash. Darren comments, Kansas City's secondary is nasty. Inman having a productive game might be a stretch. Yeah, I think you're right. I do think you're right. But I'm hoping that this is the game that Inman comes out and shows us. But I agree with you. I think that is a bit of a stretch because Inman this season really hasn't. I don't know. He hasn't showed us that willingness to fight for the ball, and he certainly hasn't shown us that he can catch the ball in close quarters. Regularly and consistently. I'm sure you can find some footage of him, catching the ball, in tight coverage and stuff. But it's consistency. You need that from your wide receivers. You need the consistency. Now, moving on to the tight ends. Antonio Gates, he's battling the knee and the hip issue. Ladarius Green has been he's out, probably out for this game with the ankle injury. What a bummer, This is one of those guys that you're just so frustrated with because when he's healthy and he's out there and he's playing, man, he is so good. He is so good. And you look at a guy and you say, I'm comfortable with him being out there. When Gates is ready to retire, whether that's at the end of this year, at the end of next year, or whenever, I'm comfortable with Ladarius Green as my tight end. But I'm only comfortable with a healthy, mentally ready Ladarius Green, and it seems like this season he did make that jump, mentally. But the problem is physically. He's been hurt all year, and he's been hurt his whole career, on and off. He's had the concussion issues this year. Now he's dealing with the ankle injury, and it's so frustrating because we've really seen some good stuff from him, and he's going to be out again, and with Antonio Gates. Antonio Gates is a big guy. He's able to use his body to get open, but he's never really been super fast. He's been super smart, but not super fast. And now with the hip and the knee injuries, it's going to hamper him even more. And it seems like the last couple weeks, all he's really been able to do is run out 5 yards, turn around, and have Rivers, just squeeze the ball into him because they're all over him. It seems like they are all over him, and he falls down and gets 6 or 7 yards. So it's going to be interesting, with Green out and Antonio Gates, hurting. I wonder if we're going to see a little bit more from John Phillips. John Phillips might be asked to catch the ball. I know that he's the best. Well, David Johnson's probably our best blocking tight end, but of the guys that you really expect to catch some balls, John Phillips is probably the best blocker of the guys that catch the balls. But it'd be interesting to see John Phillips. If he's going to get, he's certainly going to get some more time out there, but let's see if he gets some more targets. So ultimately, on offense for the Chargers to win, wrapping up the offensive portion of the show, we need to establish the run. I know, broken record. We say that every single week, and it's true. We need to establish the run. With Kansas City's, secondary, they are good, and in order to make them, we need to make them not know what we're going to do. They have to not know if we're going to be running the ball or passing the ball. And the only way that works is if our running game is successful. We need to get some successful runs. Of course, we need to protect Phillip Rivers, but we need a big game from somebody. Dontrell Inman, Javonte Herndon, Tyrell Williams. One of you guys needs to make some big catches. And some big third down catches. That's another thing. Stevie Johnson kind of, this season, he's the guy that Rivers was looking for earlier this season on third down. A lot tougher, it's a lot tougher to get open on third down when you're running against their number one, cornerback versus their number 3. So, that's something else that is going to be interesting. Who's going to be stepping up on third down, now that Stevie Johnson's going to kind of be the number one wide receiver. I'm going to go to quick break. We're going to listen to a little bit of POD here. I'm going to come back. We're going to be talking about what the Chargers need to do on defense.
The West Coast is back, better respect the name. It's the San Diego Chargers, feel the lightning bang. Kill the hype, we reign, SD running this game. This is 619, straight born and raised. This ain't no fad or phase, this is Cali for life. We gon' rally tonight, so pump your fist till you get it right. And keep it real so all the day go can feel you buffing out. Sing the anthem so the whole world can hear you.
This is Josh and Mikey from the San Diego Sports Junkies. We are teaming up with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of San Diego County to make a difference in kids' lives.
In 2014, Big Brothers, Big Sisters provided more than 1,700 children with supportive mentoring relationships that created a positive change in their lives.
This year, our goal is to make a difference by giving more than 1,800 children a big brother or a big sister.
You can do your part by going to SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com and purchasing one of our One Before I Die t-shirts, where we will donate 20% of every purchase to this great cause.
For more information on how you can become a big brother or big sister, visit sdbigs.org and help the San Diego Sports Junkies make a difference in a child's life today.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
Stay true to your hood, don't betray your roots. East, west, north, south, Dago, know your roots. Fly your flag through the city, cause we calling all crews. All you Dago dedicated, rocky yellows and blues. It's the West Coast, California resurrection. America's finest city with borderline connection. You can have your Raider Nation, cause we ready for war. It's the San Diego Chargers taking over the world.
All right, we are back again. We're going to be talking Chargers what they need to do on defense to win this game. Now, we're going to talk about a lot of the same things, really. The running game. This is the running defense now. It has been brutally bad this year. Brutally bad. Chargers need to find a way to stop the Kansas City running game. Now, since Jamal Charles got injured and went out, the actual Chiefs running game has improved, believe it or not. When he went down, everybody thought, he's the best player on that. He's the best player on their team, and come to find out that maybe their team plays better with Chanderick, whatever his name is, West. Is out there, and Nile Davis in the past too, backing him up has actually, scorched us, in the past. So defensively, we need to find a way to stop that run, and I think that the key for us actually stopping the run, believe it or not, is going to be Brandon Flowers and Jason Verrett. Brandon Flowers and Jason Verrett have got to lock down those wide receivers. They have got to stop Kansas City's wide receivers from getting open, because that way we can dedicate our linebackers and our safeties to helping with the run. They got Jeremy Maclin and Albert Wilson starting wide receivers. Maclin's a pretty good wide receiver, but I got to think that Jason Verrett should be able to handle him. And if Brandon Flowers can do his job on the other side, that's going to give our defense a real opportunity to stop their running game, because Kansas City, their passing game is successful when their running game is working, and their running game seems to be working an awful lot. If they had to rely offensively like the Chargers did, if they didn't have any running game and they had to rely strictly on their passing game, it'd be pretty bad, because Alex Smith, I think he's underrated a little bit. He's a solid quarterback, but he's he's not the guy that is going to be able to carry the team. If you stuck him on the Chargers right now, and he had to deal with the same thing that Phillip Rivers is dealing with, I can't see him having any success, to be honest with you. But if Jason Verrett and Brandon Flowers can do their jobs and really, really shut down the wide receivers for the Chiefs, that's going to be a big boost for our defense, for our front seven. Now, another thing that really worries me is the tight end, Travis Kelce. I know that he's on the injury report. He's probably going to play, though. I think he was questionable. I'm going through it right now here. Probable with a groin injury. Not only have the Chargers really, really struggled at stopping the run, the Chargers have really struggled with tight ends and running backs out of the backfield. And that goes back to our linebackers. I think our linebackers have to really, really step up. Now, the good news is Manti Te'o, I know that people have been really up and down on him. He's supposed to be back today. Be nice to see him out there. I'm a big fan of Te'o. I think that he can go out there and he can actually make a difference on our defense. And I think that he's going to have to do a good job of maybe keeping Kelce in check. We also have, of course, Eric Weddle. He's been battling the groin injury. He's had an extra week. Hopefully, the last game he played, he didn't injure it any worse. Hopefully, he's with that extra week of recovery, we get to start to see the Eric Weddle that we were all kind of hoping to see. Jalil Adai, he's going to be really, really crucial in run support. I don't see, he's a safety, he can cover, but that's not his strength. His strength is not back there covering guys. His strength is hitting guys. Hopefully him, and, not just him, but one of the things that our defense really needed to work on, which was apparently obvious that they were really, really lacking the last couple games, is tackling. The tackling has been absolutely atrocious, and teams are able to just throw screen pass, wide receiver screen pass on both sides of the ball and, get 8, 9, 10, 20 yards because the first 2 or 3 guys don't seem to be able to make the tackle. So defensively, that's another key to us stopping the Chiefs is, when they do throw a complete pass or when they do, run the ball, if we can get ourselves into the position to make the play, we need to make the play. These guys need to make a play. Don't just get into a position. And that's been one of the knocks on Te'o is early in the year he was doing a fantastic job of, figuring out and diagnosing the play and getting himself exactly where he needs to be and then watch the guy bounce off of him. So Te'o and Jalil Adai, I'm kind of, pointing to those two guys in particular, but everybody back there has been, they've just had such a rough season tackling. The D line looks like Legit's coming back. I don't know how strong he's going to be with the I think it's the ankle sprain as well that he's been dealing with, or a foot injury. Tough for a defensive lineman, with a lower leg or foot injury because they get so much drive off of those feet. It'll be interesting to see. Legit's had kind of a quiet year. I think one of the reasons why is everybody else around him hasn't really stepped up either. It'd be nice to see Legit and Kendall Reyes, who Kendall Reyes hasn't had a great year, but let's be honest, if you compare last year to this year, he has. Because last year he was just completely invisible. At least you see a little bit out of Kendall Reyes, and I don't, like I said before, I don't have the stats in front of me. I don't think stats, especially for a defensive lineman, tell the whole story anyways. Kendall Reyes, I think we need him to step up a little bit more. I think that if you compare last year to this year, we've seen a little bit of improvement, but we need to see a lot of improvement. I think the one guy in the front seven that I've actually been really, really happy and satisfied with, and that would be Jerry Atauchu. I think he's got 4 sacks this year. I think he's tied for the team lead. That's not numbers that you look at that jump off the chart, but that's not what we were expecting from Jerry Attaochu. We weren't expecting him to be our best pass rusher. We were expecting him to make a step from year 1 to year 2, and I think he's made that, and he's actually out there making a difference on some plays. Now, Melvin Ingram has been a roller coaster this year. You look at him and he'll be making plays and you think, God, that guy's unstoppable. And then he disappears for 2 or 3 quarters or for the rest of the game. We need a lot more consistency out of Melvin Ingram. He needs to get out there. He needs to make some game-changing plays. And the same goes for Donald Butler. There hasn't been a more maligned guy on our defense over the past 2 seasons than Donald Butler, and I'm right on board with that. I've been all over this guy, and the thing about it this year, I could say the same thing about him from last year to this year. You see plays where he's where it looks like he's dogging it. To us, maybe he's not supposed to be going full speed. Who knows on the play? But one thing we have seen is at least once, maybe once or twice a game, he makes a play. Where you'll see him make a tackle in the background, you'll see him knock a ball down, you'll see him cause a fumble, you'll see him strip a guy. Now that's not what we were getting out of him 2 or 3 years ago. We were seeing him make multiple plays every single game. But I guess it's improvement over last year. But that's another guy that, somebody needs to take over the role of leader on this team, but you can't be a leader without producing also. You have to produce. And Donald Butler's he's got to produce. He's got to produce, and he's got to start that. I think if the Chargers aren't going to make the playoffs, these guys out there are playing for their jobs. They're playing for their jobs, especially Donald Butler, who, from what I've heard, there is a way out of that contract for the Chargers. And if Donald Butler does not have a sensational end to the season, I think that this might be his last with the Chargers. The other guys in the secondary, Patrick Robinson's had a solid year. On the nickel downs especially, on third down, he needs to step up, help the Chargers get off the field. But, ultimately, this whole game is going to rely on the Chargers' front 7 stopping that run. If they can get out there and they can stop that run, which is something they have not done all season long, then that's going to make everything else better for these pass rushers and for the secondary and for our offense. And maybe a few 3 and outs where our offense can actually get the ball with some decent field position. So the key to the game, sound like a broken record, and there's nothing new here. Offensively, we need to be able to run the ball. Defensively, we need to be able to stop the run. I guess, nothing changes in the NFL, Unfortunately, these are things that the Chargers have not done well all year. And in order for them to have victory, they need to do these things, and they need to do these things a lot better. And hopefully coming out of the bye, they've been able to improve on those things. Special teams, we can talk a little bit about special teams. Javonte Herndon, he came up, the Jacoby Jones experiment did not work. We let him go. I think somebody else picked him up. I think he muffed a punt or something, which is pretty funny. Javonte Herndon had still a pretty quiet game last week. One thing that we need to make sure that we don't get out of him is we need to make sure that he doesn't go out there and try and do too much. He doesn't go out there and try and prove that he should have been with the team the whole year. So with Javonte Herndon, I'd love to see him, maybe take a punt back 20 yards, or return a kickoff to the 30. I'm not saying that we need we need a touchdown on special teams, But what we need a little bit of return yardage and a little bit of returning so we can, maybe get our offense so they're not starting on the 6 for crying out loud, and they're not starting inside the 10, With our offensive line as shaky as it is, we're not able to. We have to be so conservative when we start so deep in our own territory. So special teams wise, we need to step up and we need to get a little bit better return yardage. Another thing special teams we need to get, which we haven't gotten this year, is we need to have much better coverage. It seems like every single punt is not only is the guy catching it with plenty of room, but nobody's making the tackle. Nobody is making the tackle. Nobody is stepping up. Nick Zubnar, he's had some big, some decent tackles on special teams, but it seems like that guy gives us one penalty every single game on special teams. Those need to go away. The old, solid special teams that we're so used to, we haven't seen for a while. Mike Cyphers, his not only is his yardage down, but his hang time seems to be down too. He needs to punt with, we need better play. To be honest with you, from all around from our special teams, but field position, especially with the way the Chiefs play, is going to be key, and I think that it's really important that we see a turnaround. I know that this is probably going to be the last season for our special teams coach. I think that's going to be a different direction they're going to go next year. But this year, we still have what we have, and the players that are playing need to start playing better. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to break real quick. We're going to come back. I'm going to wrap things up a little bit. We're going to be talking a little bit of predictions, and then we're going to let you get on to your football game.
Superchargers, there's nobody that goes harder. Blue and yellow thunderbolts, we ain't gonna wait much longer. Bringing home the Super Bowl ring to the city. That's our mission, my man, so they gotta give it to me, yeah. All around the league, everybody feels coming here. That's for good reason, we the bomb.com so long. San Diego, we the home of the diehards. Everywhere you go, all you gonna see is that blue and yellow, blue and yellow. You hear the crowd go live, look at all our fan support. Yo, we appreciate you. You are who we do it for. Do it for each other. Person next to me is my brother. Yep. So we've been together. We gon' hang us another banner.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
We run the green, we SD, we at home. I gotta get off and get up in the end zone. I gotta rush for at least a G today. Cause I got ballin' in my...
All right, we are going to make this last segment really short. I'm the only guy in the studio today, so I don't have a whole lot of predictions to give you. But we're going to wrap things up here. Once again, offense and defense, it's real simple. Run the ball and stop the run. That's how we're going to win today. Those are the things that we're going to need to do. And in order to do that, if we're able to do that, of course, the Chargers are going to win. I'm forever the optimist. Every single game I go into, I look at it as a game that we could and should win. So I always predict the Chargers to win, even though I know they're not going to win every week. Josh, who gave me his prediction before the show, he's got the Chargers winning 24-17. His player of the game is Stevie Johnson, and he likes to predict what that actual player is going to do. He's got him 7 catches for 83 yards and a touchdown, so he's got some pretty specific predictions for Stevie Johnson. So he's got him 24-17. I have the Chargers winning 27-20, and it's funny as I had written this down before I had spoke to Josh. I also have Stevie Johnson as my player of the game. I think that him, like I said, I know that he is best suited to be our second option, but with him being our first option and the drop off after him being so huge, I think that Stevie Johnson's going to get a ton of targets today, and I think he's going to step up. Justin, who is out at the Charger game, he was not able to get me his prediction, so I'm going to make one for him. I'm going to pretend like Justin, made his prediction here, and we teased Justin a couple years ago before the Chiefs game. He was so angry about the way the Charger season was going. he went on a rant about how there's no chance the Chargers can win, and we tease him about that mercilessly, about that, calling him a Chiefs fan, even though we know he's not. And the funny thing is, the first game he goes to this season happens to be against the Chiefs. So I'm going to stay with that theme, and I'm going to say that Justin predicts the Chiefs to win. Justin's going to predict the Chiefs to win 40-2, and the player of the game is going to be Alex Smith. So hopefully Justin's wrong. Hopefully he likes that when he hears that. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and end the show a little bit early today. We're going to give everybody a chance to get ready for their football Sunday. You only get 17 of these precious weeks and only 16 of these precious games. Go out there, guys. Enjoy the game. Don't worry about next year's draft. Don't worry about which coaches need to be replaced. Don't worry about, this guy, we need to replace him and draft another guy and all that stuff. Watch the game. Enjoy the game. Try not to watch it so angry every time you see something. If you're out there looking for things to go wrong, lots of stuff goes wrong. It's real easy to pick out the bad, from a game. Try and look at it from a different perspective. Try and enjoy the game. Try and enjoy when things go right. Try and enjoy when the Chargers get a lead. And when the game is over and we ultimately have a victory, try and enjoy that victory, because we only get a few of these a year and the off season is so long. I want to thank Darren for stepping up and joining me in the chat room today. Like I said before, this season has been rough for us as well as the Chargers. We haven't been able to always get together and all be here, and this week was the same thing, I want to wish Jake lots of luck. Hopefully the little emergency that he encountered today gets resolved and he's okay. I want to thank everybody else out there for joining us. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Jason_SDSJ. Next Wednesday, also, no show. We're going to take the Wednesday off because of Thanksgiving. I know Thanksgiving's not till Thursday, but people are getting ready Wednesday night. We look forward to seeing you next Sunday morning, 9 o'clock before the game. Other than that, Chargers versus Chiefs. We're going to be celebrating a big victory today. Go Bolts!
Thank you for listening to the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans. Brought to you by Cali Comfort, home of the low and slow barbecue, and SK Digital Imaging with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, Jason Eidsmoe, and Mike Maciejewski. Subscribe to us on iHeartRadio, on Spreaker, and on iTunes. Visit SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com for all your Chargers, Padres, and Aztecs news.